What's up, everybody? What's up, stream? Coming to you live from Cartagena. We got Karen, Ruben, and Steven here with us live. So yeah, guys, I think today. Now I know we went over this yesterday on the syndicate session. So probably give a little recap on that. Buenos dias. Hi. Hi. So yeah, we'll do a little recap on kind of what we talked about yesterday on kind of what happens in all-time high scenarios here and what we can do to not fall into the trap of just kind of expecting what everyone else is expecting, especially leading into FOMC in a few days. So we'll kick things off with indices, and then again, I know Karen, you're looking at some metals. Ruben, I'm not sure if you have any setups or anything you're looking at yet, but if you guys see something nice, just let me know. If you want some opinions, feedback, we can go through that here. Yesterday we had CPI, and it was pretty choppy, right? We started off to the upside. The market crashed, so I can just dive into this here real quick. And yesterday was one of those days where you might even think like, dude, why did I even follow my plan? Because there had the way that we had CPI play out, it didn't really give us great structure, but it did still go in the direction that maybe some of us would have wanted to trade in. So we had that spike down on CPI, and then it came just immediately right back up before immediately crashing. So we had just a 170 point range, 30-40 point range to the upside, came crashing back down, and then it ran for the rest of the day. So typically these types of setups don't really qualify for me because the structure is just so weak up here. So I don't really take anything like this. Obviously it would have been nice to be in something like this, but once we got New York open, we got that push down, and then the market just absolutely ripped to the upside, and it didn't come back. So this is an idea that I think we could get later on. So seeing everything trade over here could definitely be a play. I'm just going to be mindful of not wanting to just kind of get caught up on the idea that it has to drop today. There's definitely equal highs, liquidity, all that good stuff. So the key is going to be just responding to what the market gives us and not really falling into these traps. So let me get the chat going here. What's up, guys? Yo. We got IRL chat and we got stream chat. All right, chat. What's good, chat? How we doing, chat?
We're good.
All right, what's up, Nikki? We got Jason. Hey guys, quick reminder. This, use risk management. I know we all want to make some money, but make sure you're using your risk management, guys. Also, just another reminder, if let's say you're doing prop firms and you're only a day or 2 days away from getting paid out, don't force it. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. Just trade, just try to let go of those expectations. I know typically these are the moments that people kind of crash. And with that being said, you will be seeing an upload from me later in the day today regarding blowing it right before you're supposed to get paid. And then I said your name and I said risk management. Do those things have one to do with the other? I'll leave it up to you to interpret that. But it couldn't be about you, Jason. It's totally about Jason, guys. What's up, Harshi? Gabriel. ¿Qué tal, primo? What's good, Hector? Maria Lisa, Amy, Justina. Buenos días a todos. Ibraneth, Seth, Sen, Dan, Yo. What up, Marty? Carlos, buenos dias, Igle, Greg, Joe, Patrick, everyone's on. Let's go. What's up, Paul? Jonathan, Diego, just passed account number 2. Congrats, man. Let's go. Hey, let's give it up for Joe, man. This dude's on a mission. Let's go, Joe. All right. Natural gas for the win. Crazy. Killing it. Absolutely. All right, so basically Dow Jones consolidating. It's chilling. Nothing really to do here. If we see it crash today down to here and it's lagging behind everything else, then it's going to be a setup. We have liquidity up here as well, so maybe there's a chance. Remember, guys, I'm just giving you options. It's not like that's what we have to do, but we could, there is a possibility that we clear some of this liquidity. If we don't really stay up here, then we could have, a shakeout setup, maybe a mitigation setup, depending on how this unfolds. And yeah, we could see something like this. It's possible before we see another continuation down. So that's an option as well. Or we may just get the market to this could also just keep going higher and not stop. So this is one scenario. Otherwise, we might just keep seeing this go higher. If you take a look at NASDAQ, NASDAQ has also just been climbing its way, and it's actually been a little bit more bullish. Now, NASDAQ kind of created a different setup too during London session. So during London, first let me go back a little bit. During yesterday's New York session, after New York open, we do get some bullish momentum with NASDAQ, but we end up kind of just ranging more than anything else. And so here you could see just consolidation, tons of retail sellers. And during London session, we get this big spike down. Big move to the downside right here. Now, why is this spike down? Why does this matter? This right here, this takes out some of the lows from New York session. Then we get below these Asian session lows. So if you want to turn on the session indicator here, feel free. But you see that sweeps these Tokyo lows. So there's definitely a clear sweep of liquidity right there. And then the market just starts to run up. And that basically takes us to where we're at now. So depending on how the market unfolds here today, this may or may not be a good entry zone. I would probably be looking at entries somewhere below 24,000, somewhere below 23,990. Here's a big spike down. Only the way I'll end up trading this is if we're looking at Dow and we're looking at NASDAQ, if all of a sudden, let's say Dow is crashing pretty aggressively and NASDAQ is really slow to work its way down, only then would I be looking to take something like this. So definitely going to be mindful of the scenario. We also, if you want to zoom in a little more, we did have this like New York open huge sell-off over here. And if you look there, this looks like an imbalance here. So we can, if we want to, use this little bar replay, go investigate if we have some price action in here that looks interesting. But yeah, we get a little spike down right here with NASDAQ before it rallies. So, we start seeing this induce sellers, more sellers when it starts to crash down, and then it finally just reverses and runs. So there is a chance that we could see a reversal out of this zone as well. So we can mark this up. A little imbalance over here. I don't necessarily know if we're going to end up trading out of this zone yet. It's going to be dependent on how just how this market unfolds today. So, but I want to have this at least here. So in case it makes sense, then we can be trading over here. All right, so we got this squared up. So possible plays out of NASDAQ. I'm not leaning right now towards actually taking any of these. I feel like it would make way more sense for us to end up trading Dow. Like Dow just has all of this imbalance. If we do get moving to the downside, I feel like there's just a lot that this can, like a huge crash it could create. So staying, pretty mindful here. We got New York open in less than 4 minutes. And then S&P topped out during New York session. Towards the end of the day, it's been consolidating. We created these Tokyo highs at the start of the session. We're starting to break above these London highs. So to me, also S&P looks like it could just clear these highs over here and then drop. And then going back here to those New York lows, New York open basically created equal lows here and then ran. So there is a chance that we see S&P work its way further down. So regarding indices, is there anything like immediate? No, I wouldn't really force any trade. I think a lot of people right before New York open, they kind of just want to guess where it's going to go, so they'll just take a trade the moment that New York open happens. Like I know people that just like, there's people that hit buy and sell on New York open, and it's just like, oh shit, I don't know about all that, but that couldn't be me. But you know what? I'm not here to judge. What's up? Buenos días, Disela. ¿Cómo estás, princesa? All right. Congrats. Tradetopia stays getting funded, getting payout. That was the longest shakeout I've ever held in my life with Dow. What a savage. ES has same structures in Q. Yeah, pretty similar. Looks like a little bit more liquidities. ESU 1 hour looks good to sell, but might be too easy. ISAC. That's an interesting username. All right, ISAC. So you're looking for a short on ES. I feel like we already mitigated this Tokyo high, kind of played this New York open. Is that what you're looking at? Let me just double check. Buenos días, Alfredo. Good to see you, bro. ¿Cómo estás? Well, you know what I mean. All right, so cool. That's indices. I'll check in here in a minute or so. Let's take a look over to silver, gold. This thing went on an absolute mission. Jesus. Did you guys, I know we had some people here looking to buy gold. Did we end up executing those ideas? How did it go? This was the gold buy. I know some of you were really looking to take this somewhere over here. So yesterday's gold buy setups, this thing ran. Some of you had I know, who was it? I think it was like David. A few of you definitely had this marked up. So good trade, great push so far. I wasn't in love with this idea because of same thing, just structure. We cleared these highs over here. Market came crashing right back down. Now I will admit we did get a nice shift in momentum on like the 1 minute time frame. It held up pretty decent, especially when it came back to here and then came up again. Then finally got to this wick down and then ran. So I think actually, Sophia, I think you were talking about this trade too, if I'm not mistaken. And then this thing started to push. So great trade for you. I was a little bit more hesitant because I would have preferred to see just more structure. So, I missed out on this idea, but yeah, well done, guys. All right, so we got New York open, starting to see S&P push down. Seeing NASDAQ go up, and we're seeing Dow go down. All right, so starting to take out London lows here. So this is definitely, remember, there's retail buyers building up here. Now that Dow clears these London lows, could this turn into a reaccumulation setup whether it's a shakeout setup or we end up getting a mitigation play here. So one of these two definitely does have potential. So Dow going higher now. NASDAQ doing the exact opposite. So, oh man, it might be one of those days, guys, where these two are not playing nice together. And we see something like that unfold. So we'll see. I'm going to actually just go dual screen. So we're starting to see Dow. Remember, we want to understand, we want to decipher context. What's the intention of price pushing down? Why is money moving the way that it's moving? So this right now is giving us early signs that the push down was to capture liquidity. We get an immediate move to the upside here with Dow. So this is either could turn into, if this holds structure up here, we might get a shakeout for a buy. If it keeps going higher and then we get price to stabilize above this previous high, then we can look for a buy setup as well. Meanwhile, we're seeing NASDAQ do the exact opposite. Good old NAS. NASDAQ over here did a great job sweeping liquidity, crashing down. And this could start to form bearish structure. Maybe we get lower lows, and this could set up for sells as well. So let's see how this, we're just going to give this some time, let it unfold, and see where we go. And then at the same time, just to get another opinion, S&P playing out of this little 5-minute push during Asian session, dropping. So we're seeing S&P start to move its way down. S&P here looking like, it kind of looks like it could be distribution, but the difference is that this wicks down and comes right back up. So I don't love the structure on S&P. All right, Dow working its way back down, and we had NASDAQ working its way up. So man, this is ugly price action, just ugly. I'm gonna set alerts here in both directions just so we don't have to stare at this thing for, you're not just watching a candle print every minute. We can come back to this, and then I want to dive into metals real quick. So gold right now, after pushing higher, it is starting to kind of range. So I do still have this sell zone marked up. Anyone else still like this kind of sell idea? Yeah? Okay. So this could play out. Let's go take a look at silver just to double check, see what price action looks like there. Silver has been super bullish. I also look at how we had silver during Asian session dip down here and then rally. So we could get a buy opportunity right here too. Right there. Nice little move, textbook play. All right, NASDAQ kind of fighting it out. Yeah, these are just chopping up. So looking at silver and looking at gold, right? Silver is extremely bullish during Asian session and just absolutely ripping. We have gold that moved similarly, but I'd say it's not making the same type of higher highs by any means. So I like buys better for silver, and I like sells better for gold right now. All right, so looks like we're starting to see a bit more momentum to the downside already with NASDAQ. Just like that. This, for me, if we continue this kind of energy, then I like the shorts. Let's see how this carries on. And then now we're starting to see Dow. Looks like it might break above this previous high here as well. So this high right here was from just 5 minutes before New York Open. Meanwhile, NASDAQ is looking to break below this area right over here. So it looks like NASDAQ, in my opinion, is making kind of more conclusive movement first. But let's just not get ahead of ourselves and let's let the market do its thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share these silver and buy ideas just so we're ready whenever we would get there. This might take a little bit. Alright, so we got today's setups. 125. Got silver here. And then we have gold over here. And then if any of you guys have charts you want me to look at, you can go ahead and drop them in this thread right here.
Had an alert go off at natural gas yesterday. What's the one that Nancy talked about?
Yeah.
It went really good. Seems like.
I think
It's flying right now.
yeah, I didn't have an alert for some reason, but let's see. I think that's the one that Joe took, it seems like. Probably the same trade. So let's see here. Let's pull it up.
It's almost at 2 hours. You look at top indications.
Oh, nice. 2R. Oh. NQ alert. Okay. Alright, so yeah, NQ making its decision. Like, this is super bearish. Starting to really, really tank into the zone. Now, with the market moving this way, the question then becomes, is this worth a buy? Is NASDAQ worth buying here? Here we had the previous high. We trade above here for a little bit, came back down, and then we trade above again for another 25, 30 minutes or so before this comes and crashes down. So now we're seeing NASDAQ push really bearish, could get further down into this area. At the same time, we're starting to get Dow Jones that is holding this structure really well compared to NASDAQ. So at this point, I feel like they're kind of both lining up for buy scenarios. And either we could get a shakeout on Dow, and that kind of lines up with NASDAQ still being able to mitigate this play. So I wonder if we end up getting something like this, just kind of pushing down to here, and then the rally even further. So I do think we could get a setup like this. You know, it's been 10 minutes after New York Open. Dow already just deciding. NASDAQ still not as bullish. So I wonder if we make one move down, maybe that gives Dow another little tap into the zone. So I am open to taking a Dow Jones buy if we can work our way down like that. So I would have an entry basically below below this like sideways movement right here. It doesn't have to be down here. It could be anywhere here. But I think we could see it play out. Alright, so look at how Dow is starting to push down. And Q chilling. All right, so I'm getting prepared for a Dow buy. Seeing the way in which it's building up liquidity up here, it's building up retail buyers over here. I feel like this could give us a nice play. However, now looking at NASDAQ, let me go over here. NASDAQ's starting to react off this level pretty well as well. Hasn't mitigated yet, it's been a small bounce. Could NASDAQ get back down to, kind of where we've seen the support before? Like we saw some good reversals out of here, and we saw some good reversals out of here. So you see where we had this Tokyo low beforehand, like right over there. There's a chance that we get a move down to here before we get that last push. So kind of want to see how we'd get another push down. But I am leaning more towards taking a position, a long position on indices. I'm just curious to see how we work our way down, if we work our way down. So if NAS starts to push down first, a bit more aggressive, like break beneath this low, then I'll go with Dow. If Dow starts to crash and NASDAQ is a lot slower to move down, then I'll go with NASDAQ. So kind of ready for either or. Let's see how it goes. Okay. In the meantime, let's see. I'll place an alert here. I'll place an alert back down here. NASDAQ might just mitigate. So let's look at the drop, right? When we see the way that NASDAQ fell, it actually started from like right over here. So this was like a 44-point drop. So this is how at least I measure mitigation, etc. So I would want to see the market pump about 45 points, which obviously we haven't gotten. Now look at how Dow is going below right now. It's getting down there first, and NASDAQ's just holding this structure. This makes this play a little bit sketchy. Could it still play out? Honestly, maybe. But now you're seeing one go down, the other go up. They're moving in opposite directions. Sometimes what happens is this one is just moving independently, so it can respect this zone and then rip to the upside, while this one then decides to go lower. So when the market is doing, this kind of movement, it's kind of tough to tell what exactly the market really wants to do. So if you like the shakeout setup and you want to take a buy, maybe you do this with a little bit less risk. It could be worth it. But again, if now the market decides to move together, then NASDAQ could just push even lower and then make the move. We really only had the market trading up here for about 12 minutes or so it might not even be worth taking this kind of play, which, as you can see, that's how that's unfolding. And remember, we still have this absolutely enormous imbalance over here. So I wouldn't force this or hold this for too long. Yeah, I would just let the market kind of give us enough information. So right now it looks like NASDAQ has rejected really well, about 30 points. So instead of getting further down for us to get a better risk reward setup, it kind of just played off of this little imbalance it created here. Now, could NASDAQ still go down? Maybe, but we've pretty much mitigated at this point. Like, it's been such an aggressive reaction that I wouldn't really force a trade here or anything like that. I'd kind of just let the market unfold. Now here's the other question, right? Now we can turn into a different idea. Is it worth selling? Is NASDAQ worth selling? We took out the high. We came, crashed, worked our way down. Did we get enough structure for us to approve a short on NQ? What do you guys think right now? Do you guys think that it makes sense to sell NASDAQ still, or not? No. Karen says no. No. Yeah, I agree. I think the way in which we came down and just bounced right out of this zone, it looks like we have the intention behind the drop was not about getting, a bearish trend. It looked like this just came in, swept liquidity here. We get a nice liquidity sweep over here. And then the market takes off. So if anything, what we might just end up getting is either a shakeout play, maybe we get another opportunity at longing NASDAQ, or maybe that's exactly what happens with Dow. So I think right now, being aware, being mindful of these movements could go a long way. So let's see how price unfolds. Let's see what we can get here. All right. Cool. All right, so what we're getting right now is the following. Starting to see, let's see, some charts here. Alfredo, let me just make sure I can check this out. Euro USD. Okay, yeah, this looks pretty good. Se ve bien, bro. Deja de revisar los otros pares y te confirmo. But independently, that chart looks pretty solid. And then yen futures. Oh, super. This is on point. Nice setup. Are you already reduced risk on that, Michael? All right, so take a look at this, guys. And here goes the flip-flop again on indices. We're getting such mixed reviews here. So we had Dow take out one more low here. So it pushed one level further, cleared out the London lows, cleared out this New York open low, NASDAQ here. So now we're going to get kind of the best of both. We're starting to see NASDAQ take out those lows, play into this area, and then now it's trading higher. Dow took out this low one last time, the New York open, and then now it's trading up here. So it looks like they're both kind of creating a potential shakeout setup. Maybe they even start to go higher, like right away, and maybe it turns into a mitigation setup. So there is definitely some potential here for continuations. We're seeing that it's pretty noticeable that the market doesn't really like to trade below 46,020 for very long. So I wonder if we end up creating a setup where the market chops up a little bit and then we get another drop into this zone before a continuation. So this has a possibility. We're starting to see NASDAQ drop down first, fast. So the way it goes up, the way it comes right back down. As of right now, I wouldn't force any trades, at least I wouldn't with NASDAQ. it is look like it's respecting these lows pretty well. So meanwhile, Dow is still pushing even further. So I like that this could play out into buys. I just want to get a little bit more proof that Dow is going to want to hold here and it doesn't do the same thing it just did. All right, so while we let that cook, we have a few different scenarios here. So yesterday we had Australian with the, what was the CPI? CPI spiked down and then rallied. Now a lot of the majors look exactly like this. So what we can do is, let's make sure we look at what actually happened on the small time frames, because a lot happened really fast right off of New York Open. Or CPI. So CPI here spiked down. We could even go to the seconds time frames. And we had a big, from right here, right? The open, we had this crash down. Looks like the market played right out of the open over here. There's still a lot more support and imbalance, so this actually still could come back down and play out of this area. So we have this zone over here. It looks like that's kind of where the market's going to at the moment. Now, obviously, I want to keep my eye out on indices here, so I am going to go back and forth here just to make sure we're on top of this here. Look at how the market here, look at how Dow is just ranging, consolidating. So the market comes up. It's been moving sideways now for a good 5 minutes or so. NASDAQ, similar approach, comes up, moving sideways, trading a little bit lower though in the area. So I am interested in longing one or the other. I feel like Dow is getting a bit more, it's just trading a little bit higher. So letting this rip a little further could play out, and I would have my stops below this low as well. Let's see. All right, so here's structure on Australian. One of the things that you can do, if you're ever like, okay, which one of these, they all look the same, which one should I trade? Throw a little fib on here, and you can kind of see where you're at in the overall structure. So here we're trading around a 38.2 right now, and the market could easily come back to a 7.8, 7.86, etc. So that's where we're at with Australian. If we look at GBP, similar. It's definitely been pulling back a bit more. So when you look at the market here, you're not sitting at around a 38.2 pullback. It's a little bit below that, whereas Australian's above there. And then the other thing that we can take a look at is, where did the short start? So we can zoom in on here. Where did this CPI sell-off begin? So we can zoom in. Again, either using the bar replay tool just to quickly get a good visual here. Here's the 1 minute. You can go again down to the 15 second if you want. $15 seconds starts right there. Shorts, it plays, we see the market get back to the open, and then minutes later kind of slowly work its way higher. So a lot of these played out of the zone right away, but right off the open. And I feel like this was more the market using this as like playing off the structure and not so much mitigation. So I do think it's valid. We have some valid ideas with the majors. It's just a matter of staying patient over here. And even the way that it bounced down here, it looks like it's creating liquidity. So, okay, let's take a look at this, guys. So far, NASDAQ now has officially mitigated this low. It's trading significantly higher. Starting to really take a nice move to the upside. Looks like the market could end up creating a mitigation setup with one or the other. So we did have an opportunity to get into NASDAQ here. For my liking, it was a little too high. I wouldn't have wanted to have a 30-point stop on NASDAQ trading this high already. And a 30-point stop here would have been a little over, maybe 33 points or so. We would only be at a 1.5 R right now, which 1.5 R is still 1.5 R, you know, like money is money. But would it have been worth the risk or reward? For me, not so much. And then also just kind of seeing that we had imbalance down here. The probabilities, I like my probabilities for it. So yeah, I'm okay with that. What we are starting to see is we might get Dow to trade higher. And then this could definitely set up the market up for a buy scenario later on. So I didn't want to take a trade in Dow here or anything. I preferred to just trade a little higher. So I'm going to wait this one out. Now we had Australian that we were looking at, pound that we're looking at here. Between these two, as of right now, it looks like Australian might be a little bit of a better idea. Then we have CAD futures here. CAD futures still has this CPI drop, so this push down here. And we actually got nowhere near this. We have possible sells up here still. Despite CAD not making a higher high, it's holding structure okay. So depending on how CAD works its way down, honestly, this might have a pretty good bounce if everything goes bearish faster. So there's an option here. Take a look at Euro. Euro, just like everything else. We had the low right there, makes these highs over here, and then comes crashing down. We had marked up this zone for a sell earlier in the week, and so it came into here during New York session, just moved sideways, didn't actually mitigate, came up again during London Open, takes out the highs, and then starts to work its way down. So this was, I don't know if anyone took a short here on Euro, but there was a chance at this. Right up here for London Open. And then this already has rebalanced, so I think this is moving pretty efficiently. And the trade that I would be looking for here, stay tuned. Oh, what the, bruh. Oh, I forgot about news. No, that's crazy. Well, here was the trade that we liked. You guys can wave at it. Wow, I got caught up on the candles. I didn't look at the time. What a noob. Well, that's okay, because either way, let's zoom in a little bit here. Right now, we are definitely getting like just signs that the market doesn't really want to trade down here too much, at least not with NASDAQ Even Dow rebalanced over here and then immediately is leaving this zone, instantly rejected this area. Could we get another entry possibility? Yeah. Now, I'm going to say this. Don't chase the trade. Only take a position if there is a reason to take a position. So yes, it crashed with the news event, just pushed down instantly, came right back up again. Should you go and, all right, you know what, I missed it, but let me go ahead and let me just get it now. Okay. If you can show me exactly how that fits your preset plan, then cool, run it up. But if you can't, then you're just rationalizing. You're just feeding into your emotions instead. So, every once in a while, being impulsive, sure, it can play out, but there's a difference between intuition and just rationalizing what you feel. So, right now, the ideal entry would have been closer to this area. Didn't get it. I wouldn't necessarily be chasing this unless you get, again, another example of an opportunity. So let's say the market were to give us either like the market trades up here for some time, confirm structure, or we get higher highs and then we get a mitigation setup. Cool. In those examples, all right, we could have something. But unless that happens, then I don't want to chase an entry. I would rather have, again, a bit more proof that we have an entirely new setup and take that rather than just feel FOMO and then just like, oh, you buy right here, but why are you buying here? Like, what about it? If you have confirmation, if you have something, you understand the market in a certain way, and it gives you a green light, cool, be my guest, take your trade. But make sure you're listening to the right voice in your head. All right, market's rallying again. NASDAQ starting to continue its push to the upside. Dow here looks like it could do something similar. So we might have a play out of this area. Maybe with Dow, maybe with NASDAQ. But same, I just want to see this give us proof. All right, so we were looking at Euro. And we saw with the CPI, the market crashes from over here. So we see a nice move. This is the setup that Alfredo shared. So CPI, short, and then it ran. So again, guys, basically exact same chart as CAD, exact same chart as pound, same chart as Australian. Australian not moving nearly as much with that news event. If you look at yen, for example, the yen was actually the most bearish of all of these setups. So this is probably the one that I wouldn't have taken at all, because it just got all the way down here before everything, and it happened still basically entering that London-New York overlap. So I wouldn't have taken this. Yeah, I would have stayed out actually. You have NZD, similar to Australian. And then you have the Swiss franc. So all of these charts basically look the same. Make your choice. Dow is still, so let's zoom out on Dow just a little bit. And look at how Dow Jones is basically just squeezing in here. So guys, do you think that a bigger move is getting ready? a big move is definitely preparing with Dow. Here we go. So this has been moving sideways all of London session. Now during New York, we don't necessarily, what we've noticed is that price doesn't really want to trade down here, at least for now. But we're also not really able to clear liquidity up here yet. Whereas if we zoom out and look at NASDAQ, NASDAQ is squeezing as well, going back all the way back from yesterday's New York session. Almost 24 hours of sideways movement for NASDAQ. Same thing, couldn't establish bearish structure down here, but also couldn't establish bullish structure yet up here. Now, what we're getting, these recent price action, is showing signs that the market doesn't really want to trade below 24,030 either. So I think there's slightly more signs that the market wants to keep going bullish. But the fact that we're moving sideways for this long, to me this indicates that we're probably going to get a big breakout move still today. Like another version of what we got yesterday. I'm leaning more 60-40, maybe even 70-30 that it's going to go up. But nothing is ever promised. So now basically what I want to see is, like, I just want to get a green light, another green light to be able to sneak into a buy setup. It's looking like that could happen here with NASDAQ. Look at the way that it swept down and then ran. So we might get another buying opportunity down here, like in this range. Might get another play in here. Let's see how the market plays out there. What did that looks like? Dow now as well, starting to push a little bit higher. If we could get bullish price action and we get one more dip down to here, then I think we could definitely rally really nicely. So to make sure I've recapped this effectively, I like buys with majors back into CPI drop, and I'm just gonna kind of, just see which one of these are gonna give us the option. Now, if I was in a yen buy, I would be taking profit in this imbalance and structure. So you see how we have support here, and then that's filling in balance. That's where I would want to take my exit, or maybe even in this last push up. Now that's just me. Of course, there's more liquidity here, but I don't need all of that. So that would be my perspective. And then depending on, kind of where the entry was there, let's just say it was like something like this. This would still get you a little shy of a 2R, or a 2R if you held it just a little bit longer. Something like that. The most conservative and high probability exit would be where support and imbalance meet. Questions? Comments? Concerns? All right, cool. Let's see. Recapping everything else, I know we had our eyes on gold. Gold's just chilling. Silver just continuing its mission. And then what we haven't looked at has been oil. Oil has been very bullish after yesterday's drop. Shakeout where here? I mean, it did take out a lot of liquidity. Liquidity got swept nicely. I'll give you that much. But we do have this high, and this comes right into this other previous high, and you have an imbalance. I don't think I'd take a sell here. I'd probably wait and see if we can clear the rest of it and get above Wednesday's highs as well. Yeah, this thing is... Yeah, I kind of wouldn't really want to get in between that. Obviously, that's just me, though.
I didn't see that top liquidity anymore.
Mm-hmm. See, peso climbing, I think. Ooh. Mexican peso, same thing. So, I mean, all these dollar pairs do the same thing. Honestly, the setup that looks best primed for a good play is the peso. And I think we got new contracts. All right, so let's take a look at this contract, actually. $6MV. So we got new contract energy over here, 6MZ. All right, so let's go ahead, swap this in here. All right, so we got new data feed over here. If you take a look at how we had CPI, this looks weird. Hold on. All right, cool. So yeah, basically we saw it gap down and then run. So same thing, peso has identical setups as other dollar pairs. So considering this is just the dollar's news event, that's why the market moves like this. Peso got influenced quite a bit. So when the market does dip down, it does sweep a ton of liquidity. So I like this setup. Yeah, I think we could get a play in here. I'm gonna have this marked up. I'll probably play out of here, closer to this. And then if we leave equal highs up here, then this could be a major target. Otherwise, we'll kind of see how the market unfolds. You see how we've had order blocks right here? This could be a good exit too, just in general. So something like that. Sol at 240 is just beautiful. I'm just looking at it like, wow, you're gorgeous. So yeah, something like this could be solid. I'm gonna add this one on the radar. All right, Austin, what's good, Austin? I'm gonna check out your chart right now. Okay, let's go check it out. All right, so why I'm dumping, sheesh, and NASDAQ dropping down to here as well. Okay, so what do? Now we're back in this imbalance here, which we wanted to see originally. The market swept or moved sideways, went higher, but we didn't get that higher high. So I don't like trading these setups where we're just failing to establish structure, which we're failing to do here. So with Dow, that's exactly why I wouldn't take that. Now NASDAQ, I think NASDAQ might have a shot here because we did trade up here for a bit longer. So we're kind of playing with fire, taking positions here, but I don't think it's a terrible trade, but we are taking a smaller time frame position. So if you wanted to long anything, I would be focused on NASDAQ trades for sure. And right now we're basically chilling at like basically it'd be like at entry like right now. Especially now that you're seeing Dow get below that news event. So let's see here. Now if this pumps again, you're gonna get a pretty quick mitigation if that's the case, because this was a pretty small sweep. So, but again, we're trading like very small time frame moves. The market drops from here. You see it push down about, I don't know, 25 points or so. So this thing here could give us, I'd say roughly we can get something like that, about 20, 25 points right here. So, all right, cool. Now we're starting to get that push. Got about 15 or so. That's a pretty good move. The pullback was already pretty aggressive anyways to begin with. So if you wanted to tighten your stop, that would make sense to me. Trying to get a little reaction. Okay, here we go. All right, nice push now, guys. I think for sure at least do a reduced risk stop. That's how I would approach this. Sweet. Getting a nice move, guys. All right, so you should be sitting at, if you did take this position, you should be sitting somewhere around, this is a small trade. We're talking about like 8 points or so. So you could be sitting at around a 2R, maybe more. It's been so choppy. So here's where you really want to make a in-game decision. It's been squeezing so much. So if you hold this, this could lead to very, very nice, very exciting gains, but you could overhold it, and then all you actually were going to get was this imbalance fill. So at this point, if you did get a decent entry, I think being at break even is probably your best bet, or even a little bit of a profit here. But remember, we are sitting inside of a very, very huge squeeze. And also yesterday, Dow Jones was running aggressively while NASDAQ didn't have the same kind of momentum. So today might be NASDAQ's day where it shines and it just goes absolutely berserk relative to everything else. Now, what I also want to show you guys here, I'm actually going to unshare the screen. I'm going to go to one screen. Now I want you guys to take a look at this. Right now we're sitting at right around all-time highs. So take a look at this. We're just shy of breaking all-time highs again. So I wouldn't be surprised if today is NASDAQ's turn to go crazy. It only needs another 20 points or so, and then it hits all-time highs. So it's kind of teasing this idea. Having this trade risk-free is a great place to be as well. So I think we can let this thing ride it out into the sunset. If you're like, you know what, for example, we're sitting around 3R, maybe if your entry was a little higher, it's a little under that. If you wanted to take 1R off the table, dude, go ahead. Run it up. At least that way you almost have like an additional trade. That's how I always look at it. Like 1R, when you close in 1R, it's like you went one trade further. You could take another loss if you needed to. So let me see chat wise. I've ignored you guys. Halfway to passing the funded. Nice. You got out. Great. Congrats on the exit. Yo, what's up, Miguel? I caught that oil buy. Nice. Took a 2R. Well done. Oh, here we go. Pumping. Boom. All-time highs, baby. So we got all-time highs. Great work, everyone here. I think we see from here now, we can really get a nice push further. Now we're entering what we call price discovery. So guys, if you wanted to take your profits, you know what? Be my guest. Here's what I will say though. With a squeeze that we've seen like this, the extension that we usually can see getting outside of something like this is kind of like this. The range that we were in was about 50, 60 points, like this just whole range. So from 24,045 to 24,970. So, you know, we have like a 70 point range or so. So once we're starting to break out, like the extension that we usually get is that 70 points or so. So now we're starting to break out. I do think we can go further where like we've never been here before. Just like you saw yesterday with Dow, you start to experience just price action that you've never seen before. So what I would do just to make sure that you don't get caught up, you know, empty-handed would be adjust your stops at least like to here, you know, get something out of this so that you're in your worst case scenario, you still get to take something home. Yeah, so let me just here do some adjustments. All right, cool. So, let me see. Actually, that's not what I want to do. All right, so let me check what I got going on over here. How's our trade going? Oh, wow, that's nice. Sick. Right, now let me get a good feed. Let me get a good read on the chat here. I know these dojis can create some tension. Like, oh my God, it's gonna reverse. Halfway to passing. Isaiah caught the NAS buys. Thank you. Just that's it. That was just Isaiah. You guys take anything?
Yeah, I
Took
took it.
it?
Yeah.
Really?
MYM.
MYM? Oh.
But it's kind of underwhelming.
It's underwhelming. It's underwhelming. Oh, that sucks. Yeah.
Like a 2R.
You got a 2R? Okay, nice. And then what's your exit strategy? Anxiety. Exit strategy, anxiety. Okay. We're gonna have to work on that one. All right. What's on paper the exit
2R.
strategy? All right. So did you take your profit?
Yeah, I took my profit and I was out.
Okay. Mateo, did you take anything?
No.
Chilling. Disela.
Waiting for my payout so I can take it.
Waiting for your payout. Good problems, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So Diesel is waiting to actually get paid. So not taking trades at the moment. All right, great. So, yeah, at this point, guys, again, we've now seen this run about 40 points or so. The stop was, 10 pips, give or take. If you took it around the open, you were sitting at around 12 points of stop. So you're probably sitting close, above a 3R overall. I understand that this required a lot of fast-paced decision making, considering it just like tanked out of nowhere. So if you didn't take this trade, I also wouldn't I wouldn't beat myself up about it. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I missed it. I wouldn't force it. Don't. Oh, here's what you shouldn't start doing. You know what? I mean, do whatever the fuck you want. But what I wouldn't be doing right now is I wouldn't be trying to catch the high on something like this. I wouldn't get caught trying to just get, you know, like, oh, okay, I'm going to just pin the high and then I'm going to make the money on the way down. So unless you have a strategy that I just don't know or understand, then yeah, I wouldn't get too caught up on doing that. So just my perspective, obviously, you know, I only have 10 years in the game, so I'm still learning too. But I would, yeah, I'd be chilling. All right, let's see, chat. Wanted to take it to the all-time high, but it seemed that it could have reacted from the bigger drop. Cool. TP hit. Good job, Budineth. All right. USDJPY. Sun is cutting off. Yeah, I'm here in Colombia, bro. I mean, that's all I can say. It's gonna do that sometimes. So click sell, not buy. How do I ban somebody? Jason, did you follow your plan today? Get him out. I'm gonna get cybersecurity on your ass. All right, guys. So that's it. Get out of here. Nah, just kidding. Before I wrap up, give me a couple minutes. We'll do a quick check-in with stocks. A quick check-in with, and guys, please take your profits if you feel like it's time to. You know, don't trip on that. So here's my take on this. Stocks wise today, some sideways movement on Nike, Chewy, a little bit coming down. A couple of the ones that we hold, actually, a little bit of some pullbacks. And then big day on Tesla, Apple. So Tesla's been definitely pushing. I reallocated my my Tesla, which now seems fucking foolish. Oh my god. I was like, you know, the chances of this making another 20%, I feel like I have a better shot at doing it somewhere else. It's still only 10%, but 10% is 10%. Then outside of that, guys, let's see, Solar Place, ENPH, chilling, just been moving sideways. So this one's sitting in some profit for us. Weeble definitely still within entry areas. So if you wanted to stack some into this, chilling. Stack up. Lulu. Ruben. Lululemon almost at the Big Wick Energy entries. Getting closer. So yeah, I'm gonna be buying heavier once we get into this area. Almost there, guys. That's really like the one play I'm sitting on. Everything else is a little bit further out. CLFD, still, this is a smaller, definitely way smaller market cap play, guys, that I'm waiting on. Airbnb, same thing. And then Lyft might have just, I think I may have to retire my entry here because, yeah, I don't see this one happening anymore. So this was more of a fill the gap and then run away. So it is what it is on that. Cool. And then crypto, obviously we've seen a very bullish day crypto-wise. Sol, chillin'. May get a little difficult here, but if you get pullbacks, you know, do what you got to do. You had the chance of buying this below 200 for a substantial amount of months, basically for like 8-9 months. And if you didn't, and now you're like, oh man, I should have bought, just sit with that. That's all, just sit with that. All right, guys. Yes, sir. No trade. About to request 1,000 payout. Thank you, bro. Miguel, congrats, man. Amazing. Yo, let's give it up for Miguel. Come on. $1,000 payout. Let's go. I need one more, 1 to 2, and I still have my buffer complete on my funded, and I can start scaling higher. Is it a little tempting to cash? It is a little tempting to cash out right now, though, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I see you. Not. So here's the thing, and I'll wrap up with this. You build confidence with your skill. So you are in uncharted territory maybe on getting in. Congrats to you guys that are getting paid out for the first time ever, or getting close. And what I will say is this: make sure, like, keep that buffer reasonable. So if for example, let's say you're trading a 50K on TopStep and they give you 2,000 as a buffer, if you're floating 1,500 in profit, 1,750 in profit, 2K in profit, of course you could pay yourself. But remember, when you pay yourself, let's say a couple $100 or $500, well, now you're making your window, like your buffer, way smaller. You'll only have, if you have $2,000 of drawdown, you pay yourself 500. Well, now you're sitting with 1,500. So is that enough for you to continue to trade the way you want to? And we also want to think, why do we not believe that we can just continue the process? So if there's a little bit of scarcity mindset, coming in, I totally get it. I'd say trade it out, get a couple $100 over your 2K, and then when you pay out, now everything is at a profit. So not withdrawing till 10K. See, that I think is ridiculous. Jason. I'm just brutal on Jason. I'm bullying you. No, but I think that is like, all right. So here, and obviously, I think it's ambitious, but you have no guarantees. All right, you have no guarantees. So what you want to do first, you want to cover your investment. So if you spend a couple $100 on the account, you're already up 5, 6, 7K. Why do you need to have 10K? Like, why 10K? What does 10K even mean? Why is 10K important? Why does it matter? Because it's 5 figures and it looks cool? And then if we're targeting money specifically, then what happens? Like, if you're just targeting a dollar amount, are you trading? You're going to trade for the money. So don't let the money blind you, sir. Don't let the money blind you, boy. Across 3 accounts, that's cool too. But I just think that you want to at least pay yourself first, so you cover your investment and you cover your risk, and then you can push yourself forward. Because at this point, also remember, guys, you have to be honest with yourself. As much as I know everyone wants to be the most disciplined trader ever, keep scaling, and that self-belief is amazing. That self-belief is what gets you to where you're at. But if you're overconfident, or if it's out of ego, then you start to trade for money instead of just doing what you're doing, and that's where you're 1 day, 2 days away from getting paid out, and you blow everything, and you just give it back to the market. You give it back to these prop firms. So what I will say is that once you're qualified for a payout, take your payout. If for example, if you're using TopStep and you have the five profitable days that qualify you for a payout, take it, because it's not guaranteed. This isn't like a live account where you can just pay yourself whenever you want. It's based completely on their own rules. All right, guys, got another extension here. I'm gonna close out my trade. So I'm gonna take the W here. I'm sitting at around 5 and change over here. So I'm gonna call it for me. All right, word. That was a good trade. I got a good. That was a good little payout there. So yeah, man. So I'll say that, guys. Like, remember, you want to think about what's in my power, what's in my control, what do I have the most power over. So if you're well above your threshold, for example, like if you're up, dude, 6, 7, 8K, 9K, and it's a 50K account where they only gave you 2,000 drawdown, you are way above, you're way beyond your risk reward. So pay yourself out, leave yourself a good buffer so you can keep trading responsibly. And but yeah, always take what is like when it's guaranteed, for sure. Yeah, and that's another way to look at it. If it starts to go backwards, because that's possible, we all have losing streaks. What is it going to feel like to give all of that back, right? So yeah, it's not fun. I need to build my other newly funded account. Yeah, go ahead, guys. So anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Great session, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you got a W today, if we won together, let us know in the community. Drop the W in the Tradetopia chat. It would mean the world for us, considering that these live streams are absolutely for free. And I love that I can help you guys scale your accounts, learn more about yourself as a trader, and keep going forward. And if you want to have more in-depth information with this, then feel free to book a call with the syndicate so you can learn how to have everything 100% systematic. But yeah, we'll see you guys back here again on Monday. Take care, guys.